one of the things that's very important, it actually belongs to the ICF core competencies, is making sure that your client's expectations are not misaligned. So in other words, making sure your client knows what coaching is and isn't. Out of curiosity, let's just check something with the group. I'd really be interested in this. Let's give you a definition. This is a Colleen-ism, not an ICF thing. Pure coaching is coaching without giving advice. Okay, no telling people what to do. Blended coaching is a mix of pure coaching plus other things like consulting, teaching, mentoring. Please let me know in the chat who here is more of a blended coach and who here is more of a pure coach. And if you're still becoming a coach, maybe you know which you're more inclined to be. Pure is ICF only. Now, ICF, for example, would not pass a credential on an assessment if you stepped into the role of mentor consultant, if you started leading a session too much. Up to around 70-80% of our graduates are actually blended coaches, and they step into different roles in their life. I think it's a wonderful thing to know how to offer pure ICF competencies so that you can empower another human being without giving any advice. Lots of good reasons for that, including that you're not liable and the responsibility is on the client. It also means that you can coach anyone, because if you're giving advice, you can't coach everyone, yes? If your role as a coach is advice giving, you need to be an expert and you are accountable for the advice. Makes sense. Whereas if you're empowering someone to empower themselves, you can coach an athlete, you can coach a brain surgeon because you're relying on their expertise. I would never play the role of an advisor to a brain surgeon if I don't know anything about brain surgery. But if I'm offering pure coaching, I've had clients that are CEOs and athletes and school teachers and artists, and you can happily step into all those spaces and all those niches with pure coaching. Blended coaching is when you have other expertise. Like I know many of you arrive in this space with leadership expertise, with Enneagram expertise, etc. And therefore you're going to move between the roles. Now, if you're a pure coach or you're offering a pure coaching session, you don't have to use the language pure coach. Make sure that you've bullet pointed exactly what your client can expect from the session, because what you don't want is for them to arrive at a session expecting advice and then you're not giving advice. True? If you're going to send them something beforehand, which I highly recommend, remember that today people scan, they don't read. True story? We all don't read anymore. We all scan. We're all busy. We're all in information overload. So you need to do your best to help people to digest information. You want to spend time putting this in a couple of bullet points, maybe a short video, so that the most salient, important points are upfront. You could even heading it, like what to expect from your session, what not to expect from your coaching session. If you're going to create a questionnaire, I personally love Typeform. Again, make sure that it takes 3 to 5 minutes, no more, and that you are being sure that you are asking the most important information, because you want to draw out the most important information that you need. And you could use the questionnaire to both set some of the ICF core competency ethics, what coaching is, what it isn't, how it's different to therapy, how they can get the most from the session. You could even ask them, what are your top 3 goals right now? Where do you want to be in a year's time? You could even start the coaching by asking some of the deep and value questions, like why is this important to you? Just remember to try and keep it short and sweet. That way, when they arrive at the session, you have warmed them up a little. You have given them some kind of expectation check, as well as started their thinking around the kinds of goals that they want to bring to the session and you've clarified that in a session you'll be doing the following, and give them a little bit of a bullet point. Where possible, you don't leave it all for the first session. The third thing I would suggest you do is build your credibility. So that means somehow positioning yourself. It doesn't mean sending them your resume. Think about 2 or 3 salient short points that are true, but that establishes you, so that the person feels like, oh, I'm so pleased that I'm talking to Dora, because she's completed an ICF program. She's worked for charity organizations around Africa. 2 or 3 little things about why you care, what makes you real, and not only resume things. Sometimes it's also nice to put a little personal touch. Like I always tell people that if I'm not working or writing or training coaches or speaking, you'll find me in my muddy 4x4 out camping in some wild place, right? So people like that, okay, this is a human being as well. Does that answer you, Dora?
Very helpful. Yeah, thank you.
Good.